Hello everyone, this is Humans, also known as Nate, and today I will be demonstrating how to play the game that I've been working on called Full Death Roguelike. We are on version Alpha 20 Alpha. I think version 21 will probably go out to the testers sometime in the following days. And this is meant to be both a showcase to other people as well as an instructional video for testers. So first of all, we've loaded up the game and we're presented with the controls as well as the instruction to press ESC to begin. You may return to this screen by pressing escape at any time. So that's the first controls instruction. You can access your character sheet, manifestations. Everything is either entirely keyboard, entirely mouse, or you can use both. So you're not restricted to using only keyboard or only mouse, or you can do however many combinations you want. Almost all of the keyboard actions you can also do from just the numpad. Although there are other support things over here. But let's jump into gameplay. So I'm going to press escape. First thing we're told is in the bottom left here that subject gained consciousness. It says us here, subject. We stand tall and we have some enhanced physical capabilities as well as a highly adaptive cognitive function. This is a mouse hover that you can do over most interesting things in the game. So for example, we can hover over the locked door here to see that it is a very difficult lock. A explosion of 2,200 if we had enough skill to open it, but we won't. But we'll get to those details later. For now, let's focus on what we heard over the ship intercom. Greetings, subject. Please use the numpad keys or right mouse button to move. So as mentioned, all functionality exists for keyboard or mouse. So I'm going to press the 4 button and I can move around using the numpad keys as well as being able to use the mouse right click. So I'm now right clicking to squares to be able to move. We had this door open. It is now an open door, so that's good. We had a voice echo over the ship intercom. Well done, subject. Please pick up a sidearm from the floor in the next room. So will be our next mission. For now, let me show you. You can press escape to go back to this menu here, and you'll see that the look button is the numpad full stop or the L button. So far we've been using the mouse button to look at things, but if we want to, we can press that look button and now we can look at things using the numpad. So we don't have to use the mouse, we get presented with this. And then it'll leave it hovering at that spot that you left it, so it's best to leave it on a square that we're not interested in. So we see this E button here. E, as is presented here, is for interacting as well as the 0 on the numpad. So what we can do is press 0 and now we'll be interacting. So we're currently in the interacting screen. We could also press E to do the same thing and move our numpad around, or as mentioned we can use solely the key button to look to pick things up. So clicking on the conscript's dagger, we pick that up. And the door opens and we hear another voice. Well done. Subject, please use the character sheet or status bar inventory to equip a sidearm. So this is the status bar down here. And then if we look in here, this is the character sheet. So we got to it, we can click on the subject, left click on subject. We can press C, or we can press I. So again, that's all in this screen, and I think when you're learning to use the game, you'll definitely want to use this screen a lot. So you'll press escape often to come and see, okay, how do I get to the character screen? character sheet, there it is, CI, or it's this little multiplication symbol on the numpad. So if I press that, we'll get to the character sheet. This shows various stats. So you see here strength, intelligence, dexterity, power, athletics, constitution, as well as our combat stats. So these all give various effects, which we'll go into deep when we get into combat. For now, we've been charged with equipping the sidearm. So this is our sidearm. It's a common sidearm. It'll give us 2 attack, and it will go into this slot here, the sidearm slot. So we can use the mouse to left click it, or we can use the numpad, 1 to select, and then enter to equip it. And we've equipped it. To unequip it, you can only do that from this screen. You can then click on here, or again, we can press the B key, as is expressed here. So you press that B key, and then enter to unequip. The other way you can equip things is if they're in here. If they're already selected in a slot down here, so pressing enter here won't work, but if it's like that, it equips it. And you can see our character has now changed. He's got a cool little dagger that he's holding out. We'll also go over here and we'll pick up the conscript's pistol, just in case we choose to use that. So this C on the floor just helps to direct us towards that character screen we're looking at. Also worth noting is that this is the notification log, so this is where it tracks everything that's happened. So everything since we gained consciousness, moved for the first time, picked up our item, equipped our item, unequipped and picked up things again, as well as the information that's been told to us over the ship intercom. So if you're ever curious about what just happened, or trying to look up how many turns it's been, each turn is separated by a chunk, by a little gap here, so you can tell everything that happened in one turn. And the other thing is this information display. So whenever you hover over an item or select it using number keys or letter keys, it'll give you information on that item. So you've got attack, range, accuracy, item effect, all those effects here that describe what they do, as well as potentially you can get character stats off of some items. But let's walk into here, because going back into our log, we've been told to select a weapon or a device from the pedestals in the large room ahead. Now, I highly suggest that you start your run with a weapon and not with a device, because currently casters are not well balanced. They are by far the hardest class to play. They have terrible early game, but they scale exceptionally well into the late game. However, we've got 3 weapons to choose from here, so we will have a look at them. We've got our Tacky Thorn, which is a ranged weapon. You can tell it's ranged by 2 things. Firstly, it has 0 attack and 3 range, which is on the second line here. So if we go back to there, you can see attack and range. Accuracy is 0, IPL 0. It gives us 1 evasion, which is the EVS, which is quite good. Now it's reach. Reach is an important thing, so let's grab this first. We get told, well done, this door opens for us. Please continue down the hallway to the ship's bridge. We will do that in a second, but first let's look at the weapon we just picked up, this Tacky Thorn. So this reach 2 to 3. Now if you come over here, the way reach works is you have a minimum, a mid, and a max distance that you can shoot. So our little pistol here has a minimum distance of 1, which is right next to us, and a maximum distance of 2, which is an extra stray away. So, if we equipped this, and go down here, our middle distance is essentially 1, as is our starting distance, and our maximum distance is 2. However, as soon as we equip this other ranged weapon, you see that now our max distance is 3. Now, to account for the fact that our Tacky Thorn has 3 ranged attack, while our conscript pistol has 2 ranged attack, we have 2 value for range, which is the damage from the minimum to the mid distance. So between 1 and 2, which is just 1, you'll do 4 damage, and between 2 and 3, we'll do our tacky thorn damage, which is 5. Your attack is different from your ranged. So if we were to put in our conscript's pistol instead of our conscript's dagger, now at range 2 and 3 we attack with our ranged weapon, but we can melee at close range. Now the important thing here is that attack has that little plus symbol next to it, whereas the range doesn't. That's denoting that your attack does stack. So when you have a weapon that does attack instead of range, that will stack. While playing a ranged character for your first character isn't inadvisable, I think the best option is to pick up a close range weapon. So here we have the Shatrine armament, and we could select that. But let me just explain what I did here. So by either running into or using the interact key, I can interact with these pedestals. If we look at a pedestal, it explains to us that an item is taken from one, the others retract, and when it is replaced, they return. So you can pick and choose and see what it looks like with a weapon equipped before pardon me, before selecting it. Your choices will matter for this first weapon, probably for the first dungeon, if you're unlucky at the start of the second dungeon as well, but they shouldn't last you much further than that, because you can quickly replace a faulty weapon. But let's take a look at this one. If we go in here, so we've got our conscript dagger equipped. This +5 attack from our Shatrine armament adds up to 9 attack total, and that's reflected down here. We now have 0 ranged. Even though we have base ranged of 2, we don't have any ranged weapons equipped. We don't have our conscript pistol on or our ranged weapon. So in that sense, we miss out on this bonus ranged, but we have a very strong attack. Now, attack works for running, pardon me, running into enemies. This one gives us +5 attack, +1 item effect, +1 intelligence, and -1 dexterity. So intelligence and dexterity are pretty close. You'll notice over here, as a total, we've lost some range, but as a melee fighter, we don't really mind about that. We've lost some accuracy, which would be bad if we were versing enemies with high dodge. And we've gained a lot of item effect. Now, currently we don't have any items that use item effect, but 7 is quite a lot at the start of the game, so that would be useful for us. So I think we'll keep this gear. We'll also keep the conscript's pistol in case we run into a really nice ranged weapons and consider changing. So now we're going to do as the voice instructed us to previously, which was continue down the hallway to the ship's bridge. So you've got these nice little arrows here instructing you to open a door. You can walk into it. To close it, you can interact with it. But you have to be standing next to it to interact with it. So that won't work if we're standing a bit away. But if we're standing next to it, it'll open, and a left click on there. Or you can, as I said, if it's closed, you can just run into it. This E, again, we have something to interact with, and that is the console. You can also do it by looking at these flashy little windows at the front of the ship. We're going to do it from our seat here. It is the means for interstellar travel. So we'll just, we were using the look button. We'll go in here, and now you're presented with the glorious planet screen. Nice little stars and a galactic overlay. We can look at the planets by hovering over them. We can also use the numpad key to navigate around this menu. Each planet has a fancy description to give you an idea of what the planet's like, what it's about. But to go to the dungeon, we'll have to go to this screen. So you can get out of that screen by pressing escape, or if you're using the mouse by clicking the right mouse button. As with most menus, so if we're in this main menu, to get out of it, right mouse button or escape. So, going back to our console, we've got this planet with one tier 1 dungeon, this with another tier 1 dungeon, and this with another tier 1 dungeon. So, by hovering over or selecting using the numpad keys, you can see what a dungeon has. So these undiscovered dungeons, we cannot inspect them and we cannot travel to them. But we can have a look at this water shrine. So this is a Dracon dungeon, dedicated to Oceanus. They have very high evasion creatures. They are agile and dexterous, but rather weak. And the Liz Queen is the boss. Now, remember I was saying, if we go back to our subject, we had -1 accuracy. So we'll only have 3 accuracy. Now, if you hover over accuracy, we can see that it's squared and then compared to the evasion. So our evasion would be here, making hit and dodge rolls. And then if a roll, if you miss with a hit versus the dodge roll, then damage is reduced by 50%. Now, when we're selecting our dungeon, here it is, the water shrine, these enemies have high evasion, so our low accuracy will basically halve our attack damage here. So we probably don't want to go to this one. Part of the strategy of the game is selecting a good dungeon from the start that suits your character. So instead, let's have a look at, we have the Alien Nest. They have differing abilities and stats requiring keen tactics, as well as a Juggernaut boss. And we have some starting passive enemies and stationary enemies, so we can avoid creatures, and then an Optio boss. So I think for a melee character, I don't mind suggesting the Alien Nest. I think this will be fun. So either left click or enter on a dungeon and you'll travel to it. So here we go. And we've arrived at our destination. Currently in the game there is no transition screens. I intend to be adding transition screens sometime in the alpha, but for now you just basically teleport to the dungeon. We step off, and right here is the entrance pad and a closed chest. The other thing I've forgotten to mention so far is using either the mouse wheel or this look button. You can cycle through the different looking modes. So if we go back here and we want to look around the dungeon to see what kind of vibe it's giving off, we press the look button a couple times. Here we go. Let's actually press the look button, and you can see the ground is slimy and writhing. So it's kind of nasty, and the walls are also materializing out of disgusting slime. So that's fun. We also see a miasma here. Stepping into it will make us sick, so you don't want to do that. But over here, we've opened our chest by stepping into it. You can also do it by interacting, and we see an item has popped out. It contained an old battery, so we'll probably pick that up. We have a look at it. It gives us some suit points. So suit points are these down here, SP. They're increased by power, as well as gear will naturally increase your suit points as well. And suit points combined with item effect are basically for casters. So instead of mana and maybe something like intelligence or spell power, we have suit points and item effects. Currently, you can only cast spells off of items, and we don't have any items that cast spells. But we will be picking one up probably within this dungeon, so we'll go over that when we get to that. But for now, we've got an old battery. Our first enemy. I suggest every time you see an enemy, you have a look at it, and this is a roach. They're common, unsentient, and they have an attack of 4, an accuracy of 5, a resistance of 2, and an evasion of 1. This is part of why our accuracy of 3 is not so much of a consequence here. So Their evasion of 1 would mean they have basically a single roll that they can get, which is 1, whereas we roll anywhere between 1 and 9, so our accuracy scared is 9. So we're pretty much 90% likely to hit these. We're going to hit them pretty much every time. However, if we were facing an enemy with, say, 4 evasion, then we would have, a less than a 50% chance to hit them. So that's how you calculate that. Their resistance of 2, they'll be resisting probably about 1 damage per hit on average, as low as, let's see, that'll be, I think it's 1 to 2 damage is how that rolls. We also have a resistance of 2, so we resist 1 to 2 of their 4 attack. They have an accuracy of 5, whereas we have an evasion of 2, so 25 versus 14, they'll mostly be hitting us, and they have no range. They're also an insect, so they're immune to the sickening effects of miasma. So we just wait for them to walk towards us. I'm pressing the 5 button right now to wait. You can also wait by right-clicking on yourself, but I won't do that because our enemy has arrived, and we will, to attack them, you simply step into them, either with the correct direction on your numpad, or with your mouse. So I'll hit him again, and this should kill him. There we go. So again, we can go into the combat log here, and see with our first attack, he avoided 1 damage, so like I said, from his resistance. He took 8 damage, so 8 from the remaining 9. We avoided 2, so we got quite a good resistance roll there. And then we took 2 damage from him. He then avoided 1 damage again, and took 8, and he died. And we gained 6 XP for it. There's also his corpse there, and we'll step around that. Ooh, this is challenging. So as said, we can do things with the mouse, so I'll switch over to mouse now, and I'll right-click myself to wait a turn. Matron. Matrons are caretakers. They resemble spiders with a large thorax. They have 4 attack, 5 accuracy, resistance 2, and evasion 1, so very similar stats to the roach, but with slightly more hit points. But what they do is they have infected, and they have webs. So currently webs isn't implemented in the game, so that's a little bit redundant, that text. Infected, however, if we attack this guy, we have become poisoned. So we've noted that. We took 2 damage from the poison on the turn that it was applied, and then over here there's a poison effect ticking down on us. So basically what happens is, even on the turn it was applied, you will have an effect tick down. Poison and fire tick down 1 each turn, and you take an amount equal to the size of them. So next turn we'll be taking 1 damage from poison. So one little strategy you can do for facing these guys is to step away from them. So, because if we attack them now, they'd put another 2 poison on us. No, another 3 poison, and we would take... No, it's another 2. Sorry, I'm bad at math. And we would go up to 3 stacks of poison and take 3 damage. Whereas if we step away once, we take the 1 damage and we are no longer poisoned, and we hit him again. Ha! We leveled up. Excellent. So you see here, we killed him, and now we have another matron on top of us, very angry and ready to gobble us all up. What we can do is, again, click on ourselves, and we go in here. Now, see this little C1 down here? That's to tell us that we have 1 character point to spend. You'll also get an M1 at level 3, and then every 2 levels from then, and that will tell you your manifestation points. More on those later. For now, C1. So we get to choose a stat to increase. Now, we are a fighter. From best to worst stats for a fighter, I would suggest probably strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, dexterity, and athletics are about the same. For now, to help us kill guys, I reckon strength. So strength gives us 2 attack, 1 resistance. But the other viable choice is Constitution, which gives us 2 resistance and some max hit points. So for now, we will click on Strength, and there we go. We got a Strength point, went up to 6, and we now have an attack of 11. We also gained an LP. Now, let's kill this guy first, because the LP won't technically help us kill him. So we'll hit him once. We did 10 damage to him, so I think we can kill him without stepping back to avoid the poison. There we go, we killed him. Now we've taken some hefty damage, about 13 of our 32, and even if you wait and step around, you won't regenerate that naturally. Instead, we have these level points. Level points can be used by pressing T or the plus on the numpad. So this here, or the T button, as well as the middle mouse button. So we want to heal ourselves with our level points. They can use to be healed, or they can use to gain back suit points when you use them, or they can be used to teleport up to 2 squares away. So if we press T, we get this arrowing, and we can teleport up to 2 squares away. If we select ourselves like this, we'll heal. If we press the interact button now, we'll gain SP, or if we press down here, we gain SP. But we're at full suit points, so there's no use for doing that. But we do want to heal, so we press T and we target ourselves. We lose 1 level point, and we heal 10 hit points, up to 29 out of 32. Now the other fun thing that happened is Mega Toy is dropped from one of these matrons. It has, let's pick it up I think, and have a look at it in here. It costs 7 suit points to use. It unlocks a door or chest, and it unlocks of up to power 5 plus 1.1 times our IPL, which is this item effect here. It's shown down here, IPL. IPL stands for item power level. So 7 times 1.1 is 7.7, which rounds up to 8. So locks of up to 13 power. We can use this device, and it'll cost us 7 suit points, which we could then restore with our old battery to unlock those. So we haven't seen any locks just yet to use it on, but that's how your devices would work. It's common tooling, and you basically hold on to this in your inventory. There's lots of different abilities, so things like explosions and lightning zaps, teleports, all those cool kind of things. But you have to get the items through item drops. Oh, speaking of a locked chest, there we go, locked chest, but it's 19. So we currently have up to 13. We would need 6 more IPL to get access to this chest. We'll probably gain another level on this depth of the dungeon. So if we wanted to, or if we thought about it from the start, we could have put a couple points into intelligence. That would get us to 16, and then we would need to get 1 more IPL or I think, 1 more level of intelligence or a couple more points of IPL to be able to unlock this chest. We might get lucky and might find some more gear that gives us IPL, so we'll hold out for it. This friend is coming towards us. We hit him once, hit him twice, he's dead. Unlock this lock. Now these levers, as you can see, you need to get all of them. There was 7 at the start of this level. There can be up to, I think, 9, and as little as 6 in a level, and you need to go to every switch and activate it, and then in the final room, which is always somewhere in this top right corner, there's a stairway, and you need to be able to unlock that by modifying these, by interacting with these switches until they've all been interacted with. That encourages you to go to each room. Now, this is a Sprolat emitter. It is a junk sidearm, so you could probably just ignore it altogether, but I wanted to point out that sometimes you see items lying on the floor and it's just not worth your time to open it. We could try opening this chest now. It would do an expected damage of 39, so it would probably kill us. We do have a chance to evade it, at which point it would only do 20, and we could resist 3 of the damage, but most likely trying to unlock that will kill us. And I'm not even sure we have enough lock power to unlock it, to be honest. But I'm not worth trying to kill myself. This door, however, this is a locked door of lock power 2, not the 19 that was up here, so it's a lot easier to unlock. Its expected explosion is 1, and we have 3 resistance, so we're guaranteed to resist all of it. We could use our meager toy, but we're not going to take any damage, so it's much better to just go and it explodes, and we step through without taking any damage. As you can see, we destroyed a lock, and all damage from the lock explosion was resisted. So we come down here. Oh, I forgot about this. There's a helmet, a headgear on the ground. It's junk display. And it's got an IPL, so we'll definitely pick that up. We can just equip it from our thing by selecting it 4, enter, we put on our junk display. And here it is here. And that, it weighs 3. So if we go to carrying, we're currently carrying 17 out of 33. So we can carry up to 33. And the other thing that strength did was it gave us some max carrying. So if you exceed your carrying, you won't be able to move. And if you exceed double your carrying, all you'll be able to do is unequip items. So you'll kind of be stranded there. You won't be able to use any items. So you're pretty capped by this in that you won't be able to move. But if for some reason you want to sort of equip something in the heat of battle or move something around, pick something up, but you don't need to move, you can keep battling when you're over your carrying, but you can't go over double your carrying. We're edging closer to be able to unlock that 19, so we currently have 8. Mega Toy would give us currently 14, so we only need 5 more points on that. But we come down here, there's a lock 3 now. Here's where it gets a little bit interesting. If we evade this, it'll only do 2, and then we have a chance to resist it, so we might get as little as 0, or we could end up taking the full, 3 out of 4, because we're guaranteed to do 1 resist with one resistance. So we're going to take somewhere between 0 and 3. So on average, probably about 1.5. Now, we could use our meager toy to unlock it. I'm not sure it's worth it though. This will cost us 7 SP, and we probably want to save that suit points for something else later. But if we were currently on probably under 10 and we didn't have any level points to be able to spare, then we'd probably use our meager toy to unlock it. But I don't think we need to. I think we'll just take a bet and see how many points of damage we take. Or we took the 3. That's unlucky. So we step through. There's another couple of enemies here. It's smart to step back into a hallway to avoid getting swamped. There we go, we killed him. This guy. Killed him. Activate the switch. This one is 20. So if we get some more IPL, we'll be good. That guy, we managed to kill him in one hit. Bam, 10 damage, he's dead. Now, Meager Triumph was dropped. This is a ranged weapon with 2 to 3. We don't care about that. As well as we've got another one over here, Burnt Atrocity. This is an attack one, but it's pretty bad. It gives us negative accuracy and negative resistance, so we'll be ignoring that. I'll move around with the mouse for a bit, avoid that chest. It's a door. Resisted all damage. Another door. An enemy. We gained another level. This guy also dropped a plurifuse motor. So, this one costs 11 SP. It has 3 reach, so we can go 3 squares, and it will instantly move us to that point, which is pretty exciting. This is useful to close distance with ranged enemies. You can teleport onto them. It does have a high SP cost, but that's because it's of junk level. We have another character stat point, But for now, let's look at our manifestations. So every second level, starting at level 3, you get a manifestation point. These are all your manifestations. You have to achieve the red text to be able to unlock it. So for a fighter, we want probably this line here, which gives us excellent fighter and unbreakable. So we're heading towards our 240 total attack damage done. We're at 128. As well as we're heading towards our average resist roll of at least 70. We're at 14. So not huge, but not terrible. And then we'll be able to get Knight of the Empire, which gives us max hit points for strength, as well as +1 attack for constitution. If they were unlockable, we could spend our manifestation point, but we can't just yet, so we'll keep an eye out for what we do. We're about halfway towards unlocking this one. Now, the interesting thing about these manifestations is, for the most part, things that you're doing should naturally fill them out, and they'll give you a hint as to the type of manifestation that you want, especially at the start of the game. So if we were a ranged character, we'd be doing range damage, and this one would unlock, whereas this one probably wouldn't, and that would tell us, hey, you should probably take the one that gives you extra range damage instead of the one that gives you extra attack damage, because you're doing a lot of range damage. And it's the same with if we had a high amount of precision. If we were going into getting our accuracy up a lot, then we'd want the one that goes up of accuracy. And if we're getting our resist roll high, then we want something that'll improve our resistance. For now, we will switch into giving ourselves points of constitution. And the reason I say that is if we get our resistance up high enough, we'll be able to unlock this unbreakable skill. So we'll open up this. Oh, another chest. Oh, this time we got an armor. So what is this? Blight or jacket. -1 range, which we don't care about because we're a melee character. +2 resist. We're looking for extra resist, as well as some extra carry to help us carry the 4, and an extra constitution. So now our resistance has jumped up to 9. Our resist roll needs to be, to get 70 on average, needs to be, I think, about 10 or 11. So we're getting pretty close to being able to unlock that skill. But even better is these guys that do 4 attack, we're pretty much guaranteed to resist all damage from them. So we don't have to worry about taking any damage anymore. And the same with these. Oh, we still took 4 from that one. I was about to say the same from these locks, but we would have taken a lot more from that if we didn't have our high resistance. So you just go through the dungeon. Let's have a look at this one. 5, 8. We might resist it all. I don't think it's worth using our Mega Toy still. We took 2 damage. See, not too bad. The roach took 7 damage. Roach on the other side. So we now know there's a roach on the other side of this door. As you can see, there it is. So we hit it. As I said, we should step back. Now this guy, that's a hopper. He's got more health. He's got very high evasion, so it's going to be hard for us to hit him with our 3 accuracy. So we're probably going to do reduced damage. We'll only be doing 5 damage, which is then further reduced by his 3 resistance. And he'll be doing quite a lot of damage to us. So we probably want to try and come back to him later. Just to be safe, we can close this door. I think for now we will end the tutorial there. Especially since that is our only way forward, is to challenge that guy. So we'll come back and we'll see that fight in the next session. Thank you for watching and have a lovely day.